with one, fear. You know, because you do not even want people to know what you're doing. It's not something that you'll be proud of. When they say when we go for honeymoon, we all know what you're going to do. It's not a secret.
True. What's up, people? This is yet another amazing episode. Manze, I'm still pumped up. I am loving the segments each and every single time. I am your host, Samuel Munene, and I'm joined today by, today I'm assisted with my other host, of which, si Caro, na si Mama Ruthu, if you guessed so. So, it's Lillian Kinothia, and today we are gladly joined by an amazing guest, all the way from Kiambu County, Kirigiti Parish. Our lovely guest, Gladwel Njoroge.
Thank you.
Welcome
Sam.
to our set.
Thank you, Sam. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes.
It's
also amazing to find new faces in our set and to see everyone. Manze, it's a pleasure.
Hata nimefurahi kufika Rongai. Unajua nasemanga Rongai ni diaspora.
You had snacks on your way.
Yeah, I had carrot snacks, and then I was like, "Are you sure? Am I almost there? I am in a place written like this. Am I almost there?"
Are you sure?
Yeah, are you sure?
Hey.
So, but nimefurahi wase wanaoneanga.
Umepatana na monkeys kwa barabara ukikuja pale KWS hapo MMU.
Yeah.
So unaona at least ukikuja kuna nature,
tourist attractions.
Yes. Just need a guide.
But I'm happy to be in Rongai.
We're also glad to have you on our set.
Thank you.
Okay, so for the people who are wondering what we are talking about today, we are talking about relationships in all aspects, from friendships to all types of relationships. Yeah, so today we are honored and we tuingia kwa topic, tunapiga story nyingi. Anyway.
Kuna venye mmetandika.
Interesting.
It's like there's something you want to do. Okay, bring it on.
Anyway, so we've introduced you as Gladwel Njoroge,
yes.
But Njoroge is not your father's name.
Yeah, Njoroge is not my father's name.
Yeah.
It is a name I gained along the way.
Oh, must be nice.
Yes, and I'm proud. No wonder you see me using Njoroge.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I was not proud to be associated with that name, ningebaki na ile ya mzee. Yeah. So Njoroge is my husband. We are now married for 2 years. I think 6 months.
That's nice. Oh.
Yeah, and it has been an amazing journey. He's an amazing guy.
Oh.
Yes. We're just 2 for now.
But you can see someone else is on the way.
Yes, by the grace of God, when we visit Rongai again, yeah, tutakuwa, yeah, or 4, who knows?
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Okay, so people are wondering, who is Gladwel Njoroge?
Okay.
So we'd like you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
About myself?
Yeah.
Gladwel Njoroge is, well, career-wise, or what I went to do in school. I am an economist and statistician by profession, a graduate of Kenyatta University.
Oh.
Yes, but currently I do what I love, or what is my passion, and that is I am a youth and children pastor at P.C.E.A Kirigiti Parish. This gives me a lot of satisfaction because I tell people when I was young I wanted to be a doctor. And not only a doctor, but a cardiologist.
Ulikuwa na goals.
Nilikuwa na goals, manze.
Yako ilikuwa on point. Ulikuwa unajua exactly what you wanted.
Exactly what I wanted. So when you wali grow era yangu, like I loved watching vitu ka ER. Sijui wangapi mulipata ER.
Emergency room.
Yes. And sikuwa wale wasiwa, I started with a doctor, then a nurse, then a clinical officer. I was so focused, like this is what I wanted to do. Yeah, I actually missed it with very few points, but I thank God that, so right now I'm still a cardiologist, but I don't deal with hearts zile za kukata hivi kutoa.
That's nice.
You know.
I see.
I deal with the hearts of men. So it gives me satisfaction because at the end of the day, I still do what I wanted to do from a very young age. Yeah.
And what really made you change towards this side rather than staying in economics?
Yeah, I worked for some time in the area of finance, admin, and all that. But then I didn't get the satisfaction that I wanted. You know, there's a way you go to work every single day and you're like, man, I don't think I'm supposed to be here, you know? So for a long time, I struggled with this until I reached a point and I was like, I don't think this is what I want to do anymore. And my passion was in teaching people about the Word of God, you know, making Christ known. And I had a passion for youth and children. And so that pushed me to actually leave everything else, not look at money or... Because, you know, sometimes you can be tied in a place because you're looking at what is coming to your pocket and actually pursue what I found satisfaction in. And right now, even if I work up to 10 p.m., I'm good. I enjoy doing it. So, yeah.
Yeah, because so many people are just driven by what is brought on the table rather than what they really want to do and what satisfies their heart.
True.
Because for you, I'm sure you can work even for close to 10 hours just for the sake of just doing it.
Yeah, I don't mind. I find satisfaction in doing that. So I realized that the most important thing in life is not actually money, but there's a peace that comes with doing what you love. And it might not be bringing in as much as probably you would be earning when you're doing something else, but there's more satisfaction in peace of mind than actually money. Yeah, so sometimes it's good to go for what you love. Yeah.
And in that aspect of going for what you love, like how many people supported you when you're moving from being from being an economist to full-time service? Wow.
You know, there's this thing that people think the church wanaitangwa the maise. What do they say?
Church mouse.
Church mouse, yeah. So people are like, why are you going to church? You know, there's no money in church. People take advantage of you, you know, because you're supposed to be this nice person who doesn't argue, doesn't confront people. So it was not easy, because at the end of the day, even every parent wants their child to really be somewhere penye wanatajika or something, and wanaangalia wanaona, hey, umesoma, you have all what it takes, so why are you going to this other thing? But if there's one, or if there are people who have really supported me in all my decisions, yani ile, me, I think nilipata freedom at a very young age, that is my parents. My parents have always had my back, you know. This is what you want to do, this is the passion that you have, then go for it. We are here, we are supporting you. Yeah, so those guys have been, Mom and Dad, God bless you, God bless you. And
speaking of your parents, now we can kick into how was your relationship with your parents when growing up?
Wow, I thank God for my parents, because we really had a very close relationship. Outside in the village, my dad was known like this, you know, tough guy, and everyone feared my dad. So, but for us, he was still a father, you know, because what he hated was behavior, you know, when people don't behave the way they're supposed to do, when you waste your time doing things that don't add value to your life. So he had to really be a disciplinarian for us, but he was still a father, a loving father who cared, who listened, who wanted to know what are your challenges. If there's one thing I tell people, my dad was always there at 6 p.m. in the evening in the house when we were doing our assignments and such things. And my mother was always available. To a point, I think there was a time my mother really sacrificed even going to work just to take care of us. And I think that has really molded me in a way, yeah, such that I would really be very careful. Like I told you earlier, I was given freedom at a very young age. Like I would be allowed to go for camps even when I was in high school, go for youth forums. I think I joined youth when I was in class 7, you know, an age. And that trust really gave me a kind of responsibility that you guys have trusted me this much, then I also need to be responsible for this trust that has been placed upon me. So I think I had a very good relationship with my parents, and I would really urge parents to be very close with your children, because then your children will see you as friends. They will understand why you're telling them not to do something and to do something else, and it will make it even easier for them as they grow up. You know, even these things that we are talking about, relationships, children will be free to come and talk to you, Mom, how do I handle this? Dad, how do I go about this? But then if you're not a friend with your child, then nanyi matinis, wazazi si wabaya, you know. They love us. That is why they go to an extent of being strict sometimes, because they want us to bring out the best that is in us. Yeah.
No, you see, the problem with now when you tell someone to communicate to their parents about the relationship status and whatever they're handling in their relationship, at times it becomes hard because they have not built a communication. Communication. What is it called? Communication way to talk to your parents. So how are you able to build a communication platform with your parents that you're able to, when things are tough on your side, you're able to talk about it?
So the first thing is understanding your parents. Like I said, my dad is a disciplinarian. He's really strict when it comes to discipline. There is no compromise. So understanding that helps you to know how to relate with him. Because then you don't want to do something that is against what he would want you to do. And that gives you a very smooth relationship, you know. But if your dad is saying you'll be in the house by 6 and you're still rebellious, you want to be in the house by 8, now, in the first place, there can't be a good relationship between you, because you have already created a distance between you two, because I'm telling you to do this and you're doing this other thing. So first of all, children or teenagers need to understand their parents, that this is what my parent likes, not because they hate me, but because they want to build and mold me up. So it doesn't harm if I'm going to my friend's birthday party to go and come back early. You know, at the end of the day, they have given you that permission to go out. So be responsible enough to come back at the time that is expected. If your parent tells you, because there is no parent who denies you to go to every place. So ukisikia mzazi wako akisema, no, I don't think you should go to this one, there is a reason. And because hizo zingine unaendanga, it doesn't harm to just stay and not go. You know, after all, hautakuwa under that nini forever. You know, they want to shape you so that when they give you the freedom, then they are able to see that you're able to do it on your own. And in fact, one thing you realize, if your parent realizes you're responsible from a very young age, then they feel confident to release you pole pole, even from that young age. But if they look at you and feel, you're not responsible enough, so you'll be sure utafungiwa hadi kwenye utafika for the ama hata ukiwa unafanya your masters. Unaenda shule unarudi home. So responsibility, and it comes together with freedom and responsibility, they go together. So know your parents so that you also know how to communicate with them. Yes.
And for someone who has already broken that there's that mistrust between the parents and the children. So for someone who's already broken that mistrust, how will you be able to rectify this whole thing with your parents so that you can be able to mold yourself to become, even for them to be able to trust you even more?
Sure. It's not easy, I will say, but first you have to accept, like you're saying, understanding that I have really not been the kind of child that my parent would want me to be. So that humility of even going to your parents and telling them, by the way, I have realized that you have been so concerned about making me the best of myself, but I have been so rebellious, and I'm asking, would you kindly give me a second chance? you have to admit it. If you don't admit first and then now work towards building the relationship, because then you cannot say, I want to change, and then tomorrow you're doing the same thing. So admit your fault, then start building that relationship pole pole. Because you know, trust ikibrekiwa, it takes time also to build it again. It's not a one-day thing. So work towards that journey of building the relationship with your parent pole pole, and then you will see that with time, because now they have seen, sorry, they have seen that your repentance is true. It is not ile ya kusema just because umefungiwa ndio ufunguliwe. They will see that you're really honest and you really want to change. And therefore it will be easier for you to build that relationship back again.
Sure.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's your parent.
Yeah.
So they also want that trust. As much as you want to get back to that communication, they also want it the same way. So you will know that it won't be as difficult because both of you are working towards, and every one of your efforts will bear fruits. And
Yeah, true.
It can get back to where it was.
True, true. All hope is not lost.
Yeah.
There is hope.
Yeah. So we'll be right back after a short break. As you've said, trust is lost in a bucket, but to regain it, you can regain it using drops. See you after the break. Wait, ngoja, tumekunywa maji. Just sipped water from Trickle Springs. Now we're back after our break. Tuko hapa na daktari cardiologist wa roho. Yes. But ni wa ministry. Si wa kupasuaji. Anyway, now we're back with Gladwel Njoroge. Now, as we were saying, we have built our relationship with our parents.
Yeah.
Now, the relationship mostly was with our parents, because once we've established our relationship with our parents, we're able to build a relationship with other people.
Yeah,
So now, the friendships that we are building, how are you able to sustain your friendships and putting the aspect that your parents, your father is a disciplinarian in the family. So
Yes.
how was it coming up and building up your friendships together and molding it together with everything around you?
Okay. So picking that aspect, a disciplinarian, then you had to be very careful how you choose your friends. Because then you can just bring anyone, especially if he knows that person from a very another angle that is not very good. So we were, my brother and I, because we are two, we were really very keen in choosing our friends. I think that's one lesson that I learned growing up, that your friends can either build you or break you. So it was very important to choose our friends, although at some point I think I was really a celeb in primary school, which ilini affect kiasi. Kwa celeb si vibaya, lakini sometimes kwa celeb inaweza kuharibu, because now you think you're on top of the world. So you can do anything that you want. I remember there was a time nilichapwa tu sana because I said some really nasty words from my mouth, And the head teacher was like, you know, your father has to know about this. But me knowing my father, I could not imagine that news getting home. So that taught me a very big lesson, and kajichuna masikio, and I was like, you know, it doesn't matter who I am. I just have to remember the principles that have been taught. I just have to remember that I am a child who has been brought up in church, and there's what is acceptable and there's what is not acceptable. And I have to continue living as a person who knows God.
True.
So company, now that's where I'm heading. Company, you know, like when, yes, uko in a clique of all these, you know, these girls who are slaying in school, and all the guys in school want to be associated with this clique of girls. Yeah, you need to be very careful, because you don't even think, you just find yourself doing things, and then you come to regret later on.
True.
Yeah. So msiona nikiwa pasta mdhani nilikuwa mzuri kutoka primary school.
You had your bad days.
I had my bad days, and I remember, okay, you know, these issues to boyfriend, to nini, they come up along the way when you're growing up.
True.
And inaanzanga na tu ujinga. Hapo mkiwa maybe primary school mko na ujinga kiasi hapo hivyo. And then now you come to high school where now you feel, I think I am now ready to. So I remember I had my first serious boyfriend when I finished class 8 and I was going to high school. So that time I thought, I think I can do this, you know. And so that time at least uko na kasimu katululu, so you can text, you can chat. So uko hapo tu mna chat, and then like tutwili ni boy yani, is when I came to realize, wow, this guy has like, I don't know, four of us. And I was like,
It has 4 chambers. A man heart has 4 chambers. 4. One yours, one the other.
you know, and you're like, what is this that I'm running into? Like, it's not even like this guy really values you. It's just that anajibamba, you know, and it makes sense. You know, guys want to say, mimi niko na, I have this one and this one and this one. So I thank God. I always say I'm really glad that I learned this lesson at a very early stage of teenagehood. Because maybe ningekam kulearn nikiwa maybe form 3, form 4, then ningekuwa nimesha waste a lot of time. Because I remember I went to high school nikiwa among the tops, but when I was like getting to form 2 there, I had really dropped. Kuna wakati hadi nilileta results home, my dad was like,
For sure.
what's your problem? Are you serious? Kwanza unaanguka CRE.
Kai. Na si ujaenda Sunday school.
Na si tujaenda Sunday
Na
school.
Biblia ukienda high school.
Exactly. But unajua ni hile umechanganya so many things, so your focus is divided. You know, you're thinking about school, you're thinking about boyfriends and all that. And I think that taught me a lesson. Na kutoka hapo, like, I had never tokad like top 1, 2, 3 hapo hivyo, and that time I dropped. Okay, mtu anasema siku drop sana, but you know ukiwa hizo top and then now you're almost number 10 na uko, it is a very huge difference. And when I realized that, then I realized, by the way, ni kujiwaste na jiwaste, then I just decided to now refocus. And in high school I had so many friends. By the way, most of my friends were guys, but I liked the way tulikuwa tumeka like boundaries, you know. We are friends, tunasaidiana in what way, what value are you adding to my life? And it now moved from a waste of time to now building meaningful relationships, such that now by the time you're getting to form 4 and getting out of high school, hauna regrets, you know, because una feel I have utilized my time well. Nimefanya poa in my exams. Sikuwa na divided attention. At least I'm able to focus in my classwork. I have friends, you know. I have people I can relate to, like if I go somewhere najua kuna mse fulani tulimit high school mwenye tunaweza saidiana in 1 2 3 things. So it is sijui hata nilikuwa nasema nini, but anyway, the point is building meaningful relationships. Yes.
But you see, there is the relationships that you build, and at times are not meaningful.
Yes.
And because you said very well that when you realize, just like realizing that your focus is being divided, just realizing it at a very early age.
Yes.
But then there are so many people who are still asking the question: is it good for me to still date when I'm still in high school, or is it still is it good, or is it viable that I still date while I'm still in this stage, or not?
Maybe I would like to answer that question by asking another question. You know, in life, everything that you do has a goal, right? Like if today you decide to go to the gym, either unataka kuongeza muscles ama unataka kutoa tummy, you know, nilikuwa najua tu mtasema vitu kama hizo, because when Charlie when dem ama unataka lose weight, you know. So if you go to the gym without a purpose, maybe you're just niko idle, wacha niendange gym. When you're busy, you will not go to that gym. But if you know there is a goal you want to achieve, then you're committed and you're willing to stay on course. Now the question would be, what is a purpose for a relationship? You know, because you cannot just get into a relationship aimlessly. If we are saying it's friendship, then it's just basically getting to interact with people who have similar likes, similar goals, similar, nakutanga, maybe you're in this club with someone, you have friends in your neighborhood because there are things that you like and you do together. But then if you're speaking about a romantic relationship, then the question would be, what is your goal? What do you want to achieve through the relationship? Because one thing we know is that the end goal of a relationship is supposed to be marriage.
True.
So I'm in Form 1 and I have a boyfriend. What is my goal? Are we looking forward to getting married? And if we are looking forward to getting married, then we need to know that marriage comes with 1, benefits, and number 2, a purpose. So what is the purpose of marriage? And that one we can only get it in the Bible, where in Ephesians chapter 5, the Bible tells us that the purpose of marriage is for the people who are in that marriage to reflect the image of Christ and his church. You know, that we are supposed, it is like the gospel story. When people look at me and Njoroge, they are supposed to see the relationship that is there between Christ and us who are his church. So, can that purpose be fulfilled in what we are doing right now in our teenage years? Number 2, I have said marriage comes with benefits. What are these benefits? Number 1, you get married for companionship. You get married for procreation. You get married so that you can enjoy the intimacy that is in marriage, and that is sex. So, are you willing to wait for these benefits, which are not supposed to be enjoyed outside the context of marriage? They're only supposed to be enjoyed inside the context of marriage.
True. Because people say, it's very hard for people to talk about the aspect of sex in relationships, but people do not understand why. People are just told, don't have sex before marriage.
Yes.
So what's your take on the aspect of don't have sex before marriage?
I agree with that statement, that sex before marriage should be a no-no, especially if you call yourself a Christian. Because, you see, now for me and my husband, sex for us is something that is enjoyable. We don't need to fear. It is not something that, you know, mkinona ball huku nje mi sijali, because at the end of the day I am married, right? But then when you're enjoying sex outside the confines of marriage, then you also understand that it comes with 1, fear. You know, because you do not even want people to know what you're doing. It's not something that you'll be proud of ati baba yako na mama yako na pastor wako akupate pale they know what you're doing, and you're, you know, like when they say when we go for honeymoon, we all know what you're going to do. It's not a secret.
True.
But now you're these people, you're not married, you're teenagers, you're enjoying sex, number one, under fear.
True.
Number two, it comes with a lot of regret, because if this thing it's enjoyable when you're on the act, but when you're done, then so many things come to your mind.
True.
You know, what if I have, you know, and there's a lot of regret that comes with it. And people might not confess this, but if you ask genuinely someone who has had sex before marriage, they will tell you that there's a lot of regret that comes with that, you know. And number three, there's also the aspect of guilt, because you're a Christian and you know that God has commanded us that we shouldn't have sex before marriage.
True.
So there's the guilt that comes with it. And you can imagine the pain or the scar that is left in your life, that you have had sex with this person has decided to leave you. And you know you cannot change. That is something you cannot change. It will remain permanently in your heart and in your mind. That even when you meet with this person, hakuna relationship poa, because you still remember there's something you took from me.
True.
So as much as sex, people might try to sell this thing in the media and everywhere, and it looks like it's a very nice thing, remember, when it is enjoyed outside what God intended it to be enjoyed, then it comes with a lot of heartache, with a lot of blaming, with a lot of regrets, and other consequences are even visible, where people, you know, you get a baby at an age when you're not even able to take care of a baby, when you get diseases that are associated with sex, that there's nothing you can do about it. So if anything, it is better to wait than live a life of regret for all your life, you know. And even if you, unajua uwezi rub kwa akili vitu zingine, even if you repent and you turn your life around, there'll always be that cascar that is in you that reminds you that I did something in my teenage years that I'm not so proud of. True. So if you can avoid that, the better. If it has already happened, you need to pick yourself up and decide to change your life completely and decide to move forward, and that you're not going to live this kind of life anymore. Yeah.
True. So tumeshaingia zone, tuko zone. Now, finally we have talked about the giant that was in the room, the elephant that was in the room, and you've really broken the ice. So I'd like you to give us a conclusion of a parting shot to someone who's really going through a relationship and in their own status they feel like, okay, yes, this is the right thing, and to some point they feel this is not the right thing. So what can be a parting shot to the teenagers?
Okay. Maybe I can conclude by using two illustrations. Now, the first one, I want you to imagine you're very hungry and you really want some meat, like you really want to eat meat, and you want to eat meat na unataka kukula nyama. And then, si curfew saini 8, so you just go out, maybe that time it's 8, you go out and all the shops are closed, but tunajua butchery inakuanga na kioo, like a glass, so you're there, you can see the meat inside, but the shop is closed, but you really want to eat meat. Now, does it mean you break into the shop, get the meat, so that you satisfy what you're feeling? Not really. You will have to wait until tomorrow when the shops open, so that you go to the shop and purchase meat. Now, the same case when it comes to relationships. I understand, yes, you're growing in your teenage years, in your adolescent stages, and your body is really pushing you to want some of these things, to want to specialize, you know, and have that boyfriend, to really want to satisfy your body if it's the urge for sex. But I will ask you, does it really harm to wait, just like this person who is in the butchery and cannot get meat at that time, to wait to enjoy this meat in the right way? Because then if you break into a shop and take the meat from the shop, number one, you're a thief. Number two, if you get caught, unaenda jela. You know, there are consequences. So the same thing I would advise a young person or a teen outside there who is struggling with the issue of relationship and tell you it doesn't harm to wait. Right now your focus should be on other things that can build you up. You know, your academics, your skills. Do the best that you can do right now with yourself. And the time will come when you can enjoy relationships. And relationships are beautiful, you know, but when they're enjoyed at the right time, and then you will be able to enjoy the benefits of a godly relationship in marriage when God gives you a husband or a wife at that time. Number 2, if you're in a sea and there's a storm and there are things that you really need to sacrifice which are in your boat for you to survive, would you rather perish in the storm, together with the things that you hold dear, you don't want to let go of, or would you rather let go of these things so that you can live? That is like the journey of life. Every step of life, there are things you have to let go of so that you can survive in that stage of life. And that is how it is in the life of a teenager. There are things you will have to sacrifice right now so that in future you will still be there to enjoy those things. Otherwise, if you hold on to them, you will sink in this storm and you will not be able to get yourself out. So, my question will be, I may not give you a yes or no answer, but the question is, would you rather sink in the storm right now, or would you rather wait and enjoy life to the fullest later on? And I'd leave you with this verse. You can read the whole of Ecclesiastes chapter 12, but I would just like to read verse 13 and 14, which says, "The end of the matter, all has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every deed into judgment with every secret thing, whether good or evil." So ponder upon those words. And these words are said by someone who had enjoyed life to the fullest. You know, if it was matters of relationship, he had 700 wives and 300 concubines. He had all the wisdom in the world. He was the wealthiest. In fact, someone said, if today we could get where Solomon's treasures are, tungekuwa masonko. Kenya tungeomoka. Lakini swali ni, for someone like Solomon, having enjoyed all that, when concluding his book, he just says one thing: fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. May the Lord bless you and help you. And teenage years are not easy, but they are possible, and God will enable you. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing way to conclude this show.
True.
And indeed, let's ponder upon those words. Yes, and we would like to thank you so much, Gladwel.
Thank you.
It's been awesome having you on board.
Thank you.
And for coming all the way from Kiambu. Yes, inaweza kuwa ni hapa tu, but all the way all the way from Kiambu.
Hii ni county gani?
Kajiado ametoka Kiambu akakuja Nairobi.
Exactly.
That's so much love that we appreciate.
Thank you.
And also a special thanks to your husband, Mr. Njoroge, for allowing us to have the pleasure of her gracing us in Mbagathi Parish. Truly, we've had an awesome time.
Thank you.
And we would like for you to send our love to the youth of Kirigiti Parish and tell them we look forward to engaging more with them.
Yeah.
We'll have some exchange programs
Truly.
and have fun together.
True.
And let's continue enjoying Teen Summit 2021. Tuko ndani ya Teen Summit 2021. Tunaendelea kuwa charged by the word of God. See you next time.
See ya.
Bye.